Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest episode of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. The brothers Maxon here with you. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And we will be joined shortly by Mr. Mark Brew again to join us, the guy from Georgia, to join us for about another Clash of the Champions from Georgia, because we're going down to Macon this week, November 18th, 1992, Clash of the Champions 21. That will be our subject matter for this week as we continue our Clash series. So that being, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying there. If I remember right, there's 32 of them, so we're getting there.
We're racing. We're actually racing Peacock, is what we're doing.
Yes,
because I'm very unsure. I'm very unsure of what's going to happen after December with the WWE library. I have not, that's the one thing that's up in the air. They're not being very clear about where that's going because.
Yeah.
But before anything else, before we get into anything else here, do we want to get, as we wait for Mark to show up, do we want to get in the Wayback Machine?
Yes, we can.
He was still in diapers anyway, or something.
Yeah. I was to say, with you saying we're very unsure where it's gonna go. It's say whatever you want to say about Vince, but he made it very easy.
Yes.
Give me $10 and you just get everything.
Yeah,
it's right here. But anyway, we can get in the Wayback Machine. The songs will be easy because the number 2 song was the number 1 song, I think, last week, and it is End of the Road by Boyz II Men. That song is still hanging on.
It hasn't reached its end of the road. Hey, Mark Brew is with us now. Mark, we're just in the Wayback Machine here. We're doing the songs and the movies.
Because last month it was what? It was September?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is November. So September, October, November, End of the Road, still hanging on, but it's number 2.
Number 1, and then, I guess?
Yeah, if you want.
I do want.
Okay.
Because this was the era, for some reason, late 92, or a lot of 1992 was dominated, the top of the charts was dominated by a few songs. And I want to say at this point, number 1 is probably, just a guess, is probably I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the number 1 song.
Yep. The Bodyguard. The movie, that song was a fucking, for those of you that weren't alive then or have no idea, you cannot, in today's modern music world, with digital downloads and how quickly hits come and go, and you don't really have good charts anymore and everything, I don't think people today really can understand what a gigantic hit is. And that fucking Whitney Houston song was a fucking hit, man.
It was. And to make fun of Nate, when the Bodyguard movie was out, that was his favorite movie. In 1990. Nate loved the Bodyguard.
I thought Whitney Houston was hot. And I like the scene where Kevin Costner and the guy have a fight in the kitchen with no words spoken. The guy's trying to buck up to him and he beats his ass and he's like, I don't want to talk about this again.
I don't want to talk about this ever again. Yeah, it's a good movie, but yeah, you thought that movie was
I might have been a little too into it when I was 14. Yes.
Yeah. Nate thought that movie was the bee's knees. Hello, Mark. How old were you in November of 1992?
2 years and some change.
That's what I told Aaron. I was like, Mark's still probably palling around in diapers.
Yep.
Christ.
Saying duck, duck, fuck, fuck, or something like that.
And then now, so I Will Always Love You, number 1. Number 2, End of the Road. Now the top 2 movies, and they're children's movies. So obviously kids were going to the movies in November. Or parents were taking their kids to the movies in November. So if these were the top 2 movies, Nate and I didn't see them in the theater until probably January or February, because our mom wouldn't take us to the movies unless it was the dollar movie at the North Town. And that's when you get the movies 2 months late. You know?
Yeah. That was That was the coolest thing in the world as a teenager too. The dollar movie, because you could take a girl to a movie and only spend like $1 on the tickets, and then the snacks were kind of cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, dollar movies. But the top 2 movies, November 18th, 1992. Would either one of you guys like to guess? If not, it's fine.
You said kids movies.
Yes, they're both kids.
Late 92.
But they're also movies that adults would like too. But they're children.
Land Before Time.
No.
Fern Gully.
No.
He's just gonna. He's gonna, Muppets Do Manhattan. Just start to rattling. I was gonna say Aladdin.
Aladdin is number 1.
Oh man,
and it's kind of like you. It's kind of like you said about "I Will Always Love You." Like people don't understand how big Aladdin was.
Oh, it was,
Like,
and
that fucking movie was huge.
And Aladdin was the first. Robin Williams was the template for them to start using, like, you know how now every animated movie has like an all-star cast of voice characters. You know, it's everybody in the movie is also a movie star. Robin Williams in Aladdin started that. Like, that was like that was before that. It was just, your standard, just your voice actors did the characters or whatever.
They'd have a guy that kind of sounded like somebody famous.
Yeah.
Like everybody thought that fucking bear in Jungle Book was John Wayne, but it was just a guy that sounded like John Wayne. You know, like Baloo wasn't John Wayne. Well, that was Baloo, right?
Baloo, yeah.
The bird.
Baloo.
Baloo, yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't John Wayne. It was a guy doing John Wayne.
That was the same guy who played the alley cat in Aristocats. It was the same dude.
Beethoven.
Beethoven is not.
What?
It's just a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but it is not that.
Is my memory correct? Is Charles Grodin in the first Beethoven movie?
Yes.
Oh, see, I haven't seen it in so long. I was like, why do I think Charles Grodin was in it? And I guess he is.
Okay, early 90s kid movies that adults may like.
Charles Grodin was awesome.
3 Ninjas?
No.
What?
The number 2 movie in America was Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
No. Home Alone 2, someone call social services on these people.
Yes.
As if the first time wasn't bad enough.
Not as funny as the first one, but it's got its parts that are good. Get on your knees and tell me you love me. Yeah, it's a good fucking movie. But yeah, those 2 movies, and Aladdin's funny too, obviously because of Robin Williams. But
yeah. Well, just to get us off on a start here before we go into this Clash of the Champions, I just wanted to just for shits and giggles, just a second. Oh, shit. Don't step to Ron. I'm only going to let it play a little bit longer. Yeah, with the ads, with all the ads on this thing for the Slam Jam album, I hit up the Slam Jam album playlist that I had subscribed to or whatever on YouTube many moons ago. Oh man, some of them are really good, some of them are really bad.
None of them are good.
Evidently, Cactus and Barb didn't hear this long.
The Sting one stuck around for a long time, and then of course Rude's music.
That's the only good one.
Gotta love those lyrics. Gotta love those lyrics too. He does this, he does that.
He does that.
He's big as a bear and he's quick as a cat.
He's quick as a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, so this Clash of It's Clash of the Champions 21. And before you came on here, Mark, I mentioned that the guy from Georgia has been here for these two clashes with us from Georgia, because this one was in Macon, Georgia, which is a city that I have never been to in my life. I've been to a lot of cities over the years. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Savannah. Never been to Macon. But
It's fairly decent sized city.
and a lot of wrestling, a lot of WCW stuff came from Macon. They did a lot of TV tapings and shit in Macon. So
To
big
this day and
WCW
age,
city.
there's still a lot of wrestling in Macon.
They're making the bacon in Macon.
Yeah. Slam Jam. I don't know. It's like there's Steiner Eyes. There's He's Smoking. That's Barry Windham.
There's a terrible
Natural.
Freebirds. There's a terrible Freebirds one.
Yeah. The Natural. Okay, there's two good ones. There's The Natural. I like The Natural. And you got Johnny B. Bad. You want to guess the name of his theme song?
I'm a bad man.
It's Johnny B. Bad.
Here comes Johnny B. Bad.
No, it's just Johnny B. Bad. And then there's Simply Ravishing, which is good. And Freebirds Forever. And then obviously Man Called Sting. And then there's Mr. Bang Bang. That's obviously Cactus Jack. Don't Step to Ron, which is Ron Simmons. The Master of the DDT. That's Jake Roberts. And then there's the worst wrestling theme of all time, and it's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah, he's a family man.
He's a family man.
At this time, it's
Loves
the worst
loves
thing
his
of all
wife and kids
time.
and does the best he can.
Well, in the spirit of Archie Mitchell,
Ricky
or my Eddie
Steamboat,
Kingston
the
shirt.
dragon. But anyway, that's your track list, people.
Well, this show starts
Right.
out, again, we're in Macon. We get our intro. Of course, our commentary team, again, is Jim Ross and Jesse the Body Ventura. And they tell us that we're going to see footage of the weigh-in from earlier today between Madusa and Paulie Dangerously, which, side note, this will be Paulie Dangerously's last appearance in our Clash of the Champions series, because he is very soon to leave WCW in not so good terms and head on to ECW, a little known company up there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that we discussed on Reliving the Extreme.
I would say we should do a podcast about it.
But this segment is Paulie's trying to get 188 pounds. He's got his trench coat on, and then to the delight of no one, Paulie sheds the trench coat, and there he is.
Because he weighed 190, so he took off the trench coat and he revealed his man panties, and the crowd was like, "No!" They did not like it, but it was awesome because he made sure like he had his socks pulled all the way up.
Yeah,
it was good shit.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the. Of course, Madusa does her way in for the Battle of the Sexes later on tonight. What did you think of this segment, Mark?
I thought, why the hell did they need so many people to catch that little bitty ass woman? When she dove off the scale towards him, I was like, holy shit, they oversold the hell out of that one.
And then we get Tony Schiavone, with the director of wrestling operations, Bill Watts. And I'm surprised he didn't say, I was surprised he didn't say, let's hook him up.
Did you see that? Did you see that sign in the crowd that said, "Let's hook him up, Bill"?
The one I noticed was "Bring back Ric Flair."
Yeah.
Did they spell it R-I-C-K? I fucking hate when people do that.
I think they actually spelled it correctly.
Good. Whenever I see somebody spell his name R-I-C-K, I'm like, is this the first time you've ever fucking watched wrestling?
It's like when somebody adds an extra. That's when somebody adds a T to Brett's name.
Yeah, when somebody adds an extra T to Bret Hart. Fucking God, I don't know what shit like that shouldn't annoy me. I should just be like, whatever. That guy's a dumbass. But it fucking pisses me off, especially with big names like that. All right. So Tony interviews Bill Watts, just talking about tonight's event. Teddy Long is
And
with Mike.
for as great as Bill Watts was, because I mean he was, say what you want to say, but he was. He never knew like he's kind of like Lex Luger. He never knew what to do with his hands. Like, you ever notice that?
Yeah.
Like, he always just stands awkwardly, like with the, I don't know. Anyway.
He's still alive too. I think he's
Bill? Yeah, Bill Watts
Yeah.
still alive.
He's got to be in his 90s though at this point. Let me see. I'm just curious now. Oh, I was wrong. Not in his 90s yet. He's 86 years old.
Well, he's close.
The
curmudgeons.
I mean, shit. That dude wrestled Bruno Sammartino. You know.
Yeah, I'm just saying the curmudgeons live forever.
Yeah. I'm surprised Ole's dead. To be honest with you, I'm surprised Ole.
Look how long he lasted.
Now I'm lost. Oh, Teddy Long now then interviews Michael P.S. Hayes. They talk about Nepo baby Eric Watts.
Yeah.
I wrote down, oh, look, it's the beginnings of the legendary tag team Techno Team 2000.
Yeah. The angle of this is they're talking about the bounty that's put on Eric Watts' head. And Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson are going to try to collect it tonight. And I did like the fact that Mike Hayes was like, everybody's saying that this bounty's on your head because you're Bill Watts' son. And that's not the only reason. That's not even the main reason. I'd hate you even if your last name was Hayes. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking hate you, kid.
Hey.
It wouldn't matter if you came from these loins. I despise you.
Go back to the Smokey and the Bandit we were talking about last week. As soon as we get home, I'm gonna slap your mama right across the face.
The top came off, Daddy.
I don't like Eric Watts. I'm just gonna say this.
I don't like Michael Hayes' sunglasses either.
Yeah, he's got the 90s wraparound sunglasses.
It's like pit vipers before they were pit vipers.
Well, since you brought it up already, I was gonna bring it up when we got into like the match. Like, I was thinking, like, like there's people that, like, said, oh, Mike Graham,
Mm-hmm.
like we were talking about Mike Graham a couple episodes ago, Nate. We're like, we saw him on WCW when we were kids, and we're like, who's this guy?
Right.
But when you go back and watch like Florida from back in the 70s and shit, you're like, man, this guy was a fucking firecracker. And he could
go get her, buddy. Go get her.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he was good. I'm trying to think of some other second generation guys. Dustin, some people would back in the day talk about, oh, well, Dustin's getting pushed because he's Dusty's kid. And it's like, well, Dustin's better now than he was even then,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, I wrote, like, the hate for Eric Watts wasn't unjustified.
Yeah, no, Eric Watts stunk.
Like, he sucked. He stunk.
He sucked.
And it wasn't because it was his Bill's kid and he was trying to push him. It was like, that guy sucked.
And then he hung around forever. Like, they even used him in early TNA. Like, God, this fucking guy's still around? Jesus Christ.
They used him in WCW in 99.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck? It's like, I like I said, I hate sometimes when they talk about like second generation wrestlers getting used and nepotism and this, that. Like Randy Savage, he was a second generation. Angelo used him, and people kind of shit on Lanny Poffo and say, well, he was only where he was at because he was Randy's brother. It's like, Lanny Poffo was a good fucking worker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he definitely,
like, he was better. He was better than he was better than 70% of the fucking roster.
Yeah, he had the in-ring
You know?
skills and the fucking he knew how to work a mic.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Eric Watts fucking sucked. Like that was a nepo baby. He's in the same group as like fucking
Scott Putski.
Scott
The worst second. Well, Aaron knows. I don't know if Mark does, but the worst second
Nick.
generation wrestler of all time, and is my least favorite wrestler of all time. I fucking hate Angelo Mosca Jr.
Yeah, like Eric Watts
useless.
should be in that. He should be in that that group with Mosca Jr. and Goulas Jr. and yeah, trash. But we'll get to him.
It's like Sean Stasiak and David Flair. Both of them were not great to me.
The next thing we have here is Jesse Ventura interviewing Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman's on crutches, talking about a knee injury. This goes back to what we dealt with at the last Clash of the Champions, where Brad Armstrong had a knee injury. Brad Armstrong comes out. Pillman acts like, I just have to, I guess because I hurt my knee, I've got to eat some crow and apologize about the way that I acted towards you when you got your injury. And then he's almost suckering Brad in, and then he cracks Brad with the crutch in the knee. And
yeah, because Brad comes out and he's talking about. Sorry, I didn't mean to trump what you were saying, but like Pillman got mad at Brad Armstrong because he got injured. He was injured at the last Clash, and now he's supposedly he's injured. So he's like, man, I feel like a dick because I was like, not that nice to him about this and that and the other thing, and I feel really bad about it. And Brad Armstrong comes out and he even tells Brad, he's like, I slapped you, you can slap me, and Brad won't do it. And then Pillman attacks him and hits him in the knee. So now Brad's knee's fucked up. And Nick Patrick tries to say that was shitty, Brian. I'm going to disqualify you. And Brian says you can't even disqualify me because the match hasn't even started yet. And gets him into the ring. And Brad Armstrong wants to have the match. And the match starts, and Pillman ends up clipping Brad's injured knee and pinning him 1, 2, 3. And I didn't mean to talk over you, Nate.
no, that's fine.
But
You're
the
better.
reason I wanted to talk
You're better about the details than I am, anyway.
in this aspect, I am, because you know how I feel about Brian Pillman, obviously, but you also know how I feel about Brad Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
You've known this since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, Mark, I know you didn't know me when I was a child. Hell, you were only you were shitting up your back at this point. But Nate would know in like 1992, like I was probably the biggest Brad Armstrong fan in fucking Ohio, at least. And I actually will say that I think the Brian Pillman Brad Armstrong feud is actually the coolest feud that's in WCW at this point. It's a cool fucking feud.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I agree. And I actually, I know it sounds like I'm being funny, and I am a little bit, but I also wrote down, I second what I said last week. I think that the best man to call this entire Pillman Armstrong feud would be fucking Lance Russell, because it's so, come on, Pillman.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was cool. It would be cool, but I just, like I said, I actually liked the fact that, like I said last week, that Jesse was on it, because he was like, all right, yeah, that happened. Let's see what's going on now, you know. But I like the Brian Pillman Brad Armstrong feud.
Yeah, before Pillman cracked him with the crutch, I was thinking the cameraman needs to be fired because he's focusing on Brad Armstrong's moose knuckle.
and like we were talking about with like the Pillman heel turn, like what a better guy for Brian Pillman to turn heel on than Brad Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
white
like
meat
the
baby
nicest
face.
guy. Yeah, like he's the nicest guy. You know what I mean? So I just really enjoy this feud.
After, like Aaron said, Pillman wins this quick because he takes advantage of the knee that he suckered in Armstrong with the crutch. We get a video chronicling the history of Madusa and Paulie. I just want to say Paul Heyman because you're so conditioned now to call him Paul Heyman, but at this time, Paul E. Dangerously, the battle of the sexes between these two. They even show footage of like the training session where Steve Austin beats the guys up, and not even Paulie, so he can take advantage of them. All the classic. Let's just say it. All the classic Andy Kaufman style.
Yep.
Man versus woman stuff here.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say anybody who says they weren't channeling Andy Kaufman here is a fucking liar.
One of my favorite, and it wasn't, they didn't totally emphasize it, but one of my favorite things about this feud is that as it goes on, the male start basically as this feud is going on, the dudes that are with Paul start going, okay, I don't want
this is too much.
Yeah, they just start peeling off from him. Like Larry was the first one. It's like, I don't know, and then this guy is like, I don't know. And then by the time they get here, Mike Hayes is kind of with him, but there's gonna be some more with it. Mike, when he slaps her or whatever, Mike's like, that's too much. Yeah, you know what I mean? I just like the fact that Paul's guys just one by one just keep abandoning him because they're like, this is going too far.
It's like when he was cutting that promo, he gave me the vibes of Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Francis.
I know you are, but what am I? You're a woman.
Now you got now for 2 days, I'm gonna be like, tell them Large Marge sent you. Or the stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart of
Texas.
It's a great fucking
What does it all mean?
I don't know.
No.
Such a good fucking movie.
He loses his fucking mind at that meeting.
Anyway. back to we get Michael Hayes interviewing Paul Lee, and of course he's doing the whole men and women shtick. And in classic Paul Heyman fashion, a guy comes in and complains about not getting paid.
That's how you know Bill Watts was running shit.
Mike Thor comes in. He was part of the public workout, complaining about how. And I love that they didn't even make a big deal about it. Now I hate what comes up later, and I'm going to tell you why later on.
Okay.
But I do think it was funny that it was just like, hey man, I didn't get paid for the put, and then he's just like, hey Bobby, will you talk to this guy about? They didn't the bad guys didn't beat him up or anything. They just kind of went on with the program. We expect Paulie probably didn't pay this fucking guy, this Mike Thor gent. The next match on the show, the aforementioned Eric Watts. Being Kensuke Sasaki may as well have brought Eric Watts down around his neck because he is such an albatross. It is Kensuke Sasaki and Eric Watts against Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton in the Bounty match.
Because at the beginning, I was excited because I was like, that's the fucking Power Warrior.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you guys is we talked about, with WCW, you had Muda. There's the upper echelon and Chono. And I was going to ask you guys, what do you think of Kensuke?
Oh, I like Kensuke Sasaki.
Would you make him? Would you think he's like number 3 in that on that list.
Okay,
And
so
there's like the Japanese guys with WCW.
we said Muda and Chono are number 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you, yeah,
I was just trying to think of anybody.
Yeah, at this point in time, yes. Now later on down the road, when they bring in like Ultimo Dragon and shit like that, no.
like I'm, yeah, well, okay, Ultimo. I'm just like Nate. Would you put Suzuki over? And I'm not talking talent. I'm just
Mhm.
talking just how they used
being
him.
able to come in and work the style and fit in.
Yeah, like would you put him over Jushin?
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't, because Liger is like, he's okay. So I guess I would say Muda, Liger, Chono. I know Mark brought Ultimo Dragon, which that's later on, but I guess you put him next, and then maybe Sasaki's definitely like top 10, top 5, top 10.
Right.
Japanese to WCW imports. Out of all of them, I think he might be the one that had the least amount of time spent, if that makes sense.
He was there though.
Liger's like Liger's like an anomaly. Like Liger's just like,
Well, I know,
I
know, and I'm not even saying like don't even put like what like because, and I'm not trying to rank him either. I'm just saying like because like Suzuki was the United States champion at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just putting that out there. I just think he's a guy that when they talk about the Japanese guys that came to WCW, I think he's a guy that doesn't get talked about enough.
No, I totally agree with that. I'd say Sasaki's definitely up there, and he like we were talking about last week. You have to consider, no matter how many people you bring in that are from different countries or from different styles, when they come to the United States, especially in this era in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, whether you like it, whether you want to accept it, whether you don't want to accept it or not, they have to be able to yes, show their style because that makes them unique, but they have to also be able to fit in the American style too. And some of them didn't, some of them washed out. It just didn't work. But Sasaki definitely was, especially when Sasaki was put in with really good technical wrestlers or like a strong style type person,
Yeah.
This is the way I view it. Like Japanese is that it's kind of like independent wrestling now. It's that smash mouth in your face type wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And like WCW and WWF at that time is for TV type.
Right. Well, this match is the old one of these things is not like the other match, the others match. And the one that's not like the others gets to get the fucking win.
Yeah.
I'm just warning people as we go through this. Anytime that you're
this
never ever
part in a whirlwind, okay?
You're never ever. I just want to spoiler alert. You're never gonna hear me say anything positive about Eric Watts. It's not gonna happen. And I try to find the positive in everything. I try to be a positive guy. But Eric Watts stunk. But he got to get the win in this match. He actually got an SDF submission win over Bobby Eaton, which was even more of a fucking bullshit. But anyway, the less said, the best.
Welcome.
The next thing, there are some entertaining people involved in it, but I'm not a fan of the next segment either. Johnny B. Bad is back with Teddy Long, apparently, as his boxing coach. Tony Schiavone interviews Johnny B. Bad about his upcoming boxing match with Scotty Flamingo. Scotty Flamingo is in his locker room with his crew, Vinny Vegas and Diamond Dallas Page. These guys were just having fun together. They're buddies.
Well, that's actually in my notes. First off, I wrote a boxing match is coming up, which is stupid.
Hate boxing matches.
There's only ever been one boxing match in wrestling that I enjoyed, and even then, that thing was a turkey, and it was Piper and Mr. T. And the only reason I enjoy that one is because it's the only one that was actually kind of real.
Yeah, because
Because Piper was like, "Fuck this," you know.
and then
Like, Piper
of course, Piper being 110% Piper leading up to it too. You know, gnarly bristles and things like
gnarly
that.
bristles and shit. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like the actual match itself, like Piper was like, "Fuck!" Like I'm an
I like-
actual boxer, and
Yeah.
this guy's a fucking Hollywood actor, you know.
And it
But-
has a great finish. You know, like he just
Yeah, he
used
throws the
the
stool,
stool. And then
yeah.
Vince Vince lambastes him afterwards, and anyway.
but
Like later on, I was excited for the Butterbean and Bart Gunn, and then
that was real. That was real.
That was
It's
one
totally
of
different.
was one of the greatest because I will guarantee you, because Aaron was with me and we both were, that was one of the greatest oh shit moments in the history of wrestling. Oh fuck.
And you know what the greatest, in my opinion, the best reaction, the most real reaction anybody has that's watched that, like that was involved in that entire thing was?
Who's that?
It was Gorilla Monsoon. Like if you watch Gorilla Monsoon, the minute Bart Gunn gets knocked out, he knows he's fucked.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is kind of looking at Monsoon, gets up and he's like right away going over to that guy, like, oh my god, this is bad.
Gorilla's like, let's allocate some funds.
But like you said, Teddy Long, he's back with Johnny B. Bad, and he puts him over. And then Tony interviews or attempts to interview Scotty Flamingo, and Vinny Vegas does I think he does all the talking, and it's not that great. But you know what my note was, guys?
He had that fucking accent down pat.
Well, not that. It was the fact that in this segment is Tony Schiavone, Diamond Dallas Page, Kevin Nash, and Scott Levy. So imagine how funny and sarcastic that locker room, that little segment was when the camera wasn't on.
Right.
Because I'm not a big DDP fan as like a wrestler or whatever, but he's a funny dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously Kevin Nash is funny. Scott Levy's funny.
Man.
Tony Schiavone's funny. So I'm like, man, this little segment when the camera wasn't on, Jesus Christ. It's like these are four of the funniest motherfuckers around.
And then
But
this leads to, again, one of those things where I'm like, the less said, the best. I didn't take a bunch of notes because I really didn't give a shit. It's a boxing match between Johnny B. Bad and Scotty Flamingo. Johnny B. Bad is in control most of the match, and then during one of the, as it gets between, doesn't the victory happen in round? Is it round two or round three?
it happens around two.
In the in between, DDP and Vinny Vegas fill one of Scotty Flamingo's gloves with water.
Yeah.
And he knocks out Johnny B. Bad and gets the victory. I mean, whatever. It happened.
It was
Moved
that
past
cheap
it.
though, because you gotta think they're in this hometown, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Johnny B. Bad's got this fucking Golden Gloves guy here,"
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, how better to piss the crowd off than to have your baby face go under in this?
Yeah, and pretty much get hosed, get screwed.
Yep.
By this dastardly group of lower card heels.
They started out with a lot of heat so far, though.
Yeah. I mean, you can watch the show and then watch 3 shows ago and most definitely tell that Bill Watts is in charge. Dusty's still the booker, but Bill Watts is calling the shots because Dusty's the booker for everybody until like 95 when Sullivan takes the book, or 94.
Yeah.
But you can tell, you can watch this show and go back 2 or 3 shows and see a very distinct difference in the presentation and the way things are booked, the way heels are booked, the way faces are booked. And whether people like to admit it or not, those people that are like those hardcore Mid-South wrestling fans and they swear that it's the greatest promotion of all time, and it is really good. But there are a lot of people that I don't think are self-aware enough to realize how similar actually Bill Watts and Vince McMahon were in booking. Because look at all the gimmick shit going on here.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got a man versus woman match. You got a boxing match. You got a bounty match. There's like, I mean, it's different, but it's very much the same. Like Bill Watts and Vince McMahon presentation.
And it's not being able to think outside of the backs of what, like, oh, I had this great idea, so let's just keep doing that great idea
over and over and
over and over. And it takes people to be like, that idea is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
we
mean,
talked about, like we talked about Ron Simmons and the Black World Champion. You know, it's like when he tried to replace JYD, like basically he was just doing JYD again.
Yeah.
With WCW, and it. I know neither one of these guys were African American, but he saw, oh, Lex Luger. Looks like Hulk. He's built like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He's actually more defined than Hulk Hogan. Let's go with him.
Oh no! Prime
wanted
example.
Something different.
The best example, the absolute best example of that, of what you're, of the premise that you've brought up, Aaron, is as much as I love Dusty Rhodes killed Jim Crockett Promotions. He killed Jim Crockett. He kept booking the same shit over and over and over again. How many times are you going to be the Midnight Rider? How many times are we going to do the Dusty finish? Dusty killed JCP to have Turner have to buy it. I mean, I love Dusty. Don't get me wrong. Dusty's one of my favorites of all time.
Me too. I love Dusty. I love Vince. I shouldn't say Vince, but you know what I mean. Like, like I grew up on Vince's wrestling. Bill Watts is awesome, but it's like those guys had that 1 or 2 ideas, and they're like, let's just keep going back to it.
Let's recycle this.
All right. So then we get an advertisement, Starrcade coming up, Battle Bowl, Lethal Lottery, and we get Jesse Ventura and Missy Hyatt drawing the first 2 teams for the upcoming Lethal Lottery at Starrcade. It's going to be Cactus Jack and Johnny B. Bad against Dan Spivey and Van Hammer. Dan Hammer, as I call it.
We want to talk about fucking oddball pairings. Johnny B. Bad and Cactus Jack. Jesus Christ.
Actually, like we talked about before, Nate, like before they made it like super gimmicky and obvious, like Steiner versus Steiner or whatever. Like I actually liked the Lethal Lottery. When
I love it. I like it as a concept. Actually,
like
I like it as a concept, and I like it as its own pay-per-view. I just didn't like that they made it Starrcade.
Yeah,
that's my own. Actually, that's literally my only issue with it. I like it I think it's a cool concept. I think it makes for a cool pay-per-view. To just have the night of the tag team matches and then the battle royal is your main event. You know, it's cool.
Yeah. Right. And you can possibly build like 2 feuds out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a very novel concept. I wish WWE would do it. I think it's something that they've never integrated from WCW that I think could be cool, you know, as an attraction, especially as many pay-per-views as they have now.
Right.
Yeah.
Do a Lethal Lottery pay-per-view. I'd watch that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like later on when they did the Taboo Tuesdays. I love those. Like just the whole concept of it and the fact that
the two Taboo Tuesdays are good, especially because the first 2 before it became Cyber Sunday, the first 2 Taboo Tuesdays, it was actually legitimate.
Right.
Once they went to Cyber Sunday, that shit was fucking fixed. They can't tell me other. It was
They didn't fix it. They didn't fix it, but they made it easy for people to vote.
Right.
Like they're like, do you want to see a cage match or do you want to see a
baloney match?
A baloney match.
Do you want to see?
Do you want to see the divas? Do you want to see the divas dressed as garbage men, or do you want to see them in schoolgirl outfits?
Yes.
That way, they could still say it was legitimate,
right?
But they made it very easy. But anyway,
well, we played the music earlier on, and this is the match here. We have the next match is the, what do they call it? The ghetto odds match or something. Let's play even more.
The ghetto odds street fight.
Let's play even more into the fact that our champion is black and not even a big factor in the show. It is Cactus Jack, Tony Atlas, who, like I mentioned last week, already Butch Reed is out because Butch Reed can't stick around anywhere. Butch Reed's gone, been replaced by Tony Atlas and Barbarian, and they are facing Ron Simmons and his mystery partner, who comes out with Ron. And according to Wikipedia, Robbie Walker was actually supposed to be Simmons' partner in this match.
They even mentioned that.
Oh, did they?
I
guess I missed it.
I don't remember who Robbie Walker was.
Let me do my mic tonight.
Bobby Walker. So he's what? What was that?
Hard work.
Hard work, Bobby Walker. Yeah.
Okay, well, I know Bobby Walker. I didn't know Robbie. I didn't know he went by Robbie Walker. So okay, I know who that is. That guy was around in fucking 92.
I remember, because I remember seeing him on some Saturday nights and stuff that I've watched from 92.
Hard work Bobby Walker got some play in WCW.
From 92 until 2000.
Yeah, hard work Bobby Walker got some play.
And isn't he one of the guys that sued them for racism or whatever?
Yeah.
No shocker there.
But Ron Simmons, I think we all won by Robbie Walker not being part of this because Ron Simmons' partner is one of my favorites of all time. All time. They don't announce it during the match. They just keep saying his partner. We don't even know his name.
Right.
And it is Too Cold Scorpio. Too Cold Scorpio, who I constantly say all the time, Aaron knows, and especially from doing Reliving the Extreme. Too Cold Scorpio, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Shitty fucking promo, man.
Yes. Don't give him the fucking mic. Just let him work.
Yes, exactly.
That's even in my notes. Like after the match, it's like terrible promo.
He'd just be like, tonight I'm gonna fight you. Tonight I'm gonna razzmatazz on your ass. Like he'd just say shit like. Actually, razzmatazz on your ass is actually better than anything he would come up with.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to say all those words. But
anyway, I like this match.
I do too because Too Cold's in it. But like when sometimes we talk about like, did this guy was he like before his time or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I thought this about Mr. Charles Skaggs when he wound up in the WWF.
Oh, you didn't like Flash Funk?
No, I did. But like I thought about this question. I didn't know you were going to join us, Mark, at first, so it's kind of towards Nate. But I can ask both of you. Do you think Too Cold got there too early or too late?
Too early. And I say that because, later on down the road, that's when all the high flying shit really people started taking to it. Like, you had like Flying Brian and stuff like that, but like his finish, like the finish in this match, it's that shock and awe factor. It's like, holy shit, did you see that?
Okay. That's a tough one. That's a tough one as far as the WWF goes because, I mean, you listen to this, Scorpio's not exactly wrong. Like, on the timing as far as are you talking about style mostly?
Just the guy himself. Like,
Because if you listen to him, and I don't blame him, he was a little bitter because he's like, you know what? Fucking Godfather came in and stole my fucking gimmick.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Like, so
Yeah.
the politics probably played a part of that. I'd say as far as style goes, I think he came in maybe too late because he might have been able to imagine. Let me just put this one to you. Imagine 1995 Too Cold Scorpio versus Hakushi.
that's what I'm saying. Or 1992 Too Cold Scorpio versus Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Too Cold Scorpio versus
I'd say
Marty Jannetty. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say he came too late. Just because I think he could have established himself, especially during the new quote unquote new generation era where they were really legitimately just building new stars because they had to, you know?
Yeah. And fucking, I'll give you two names, whether he's a heel or a face, or whether they're a heel or a face. Fucking Too Cold Scorpio. You guys might think this would be a stupid match, but I'm thinking Too Cold Scorpio versus Razor Ramon. I think that would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Too Cold Scorpio versus Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
1997 Shawn Michaels is not going to work with Too Cold Scorpio.
No.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to work with that guy. He's going to outshine me and he has a bigger dick.
But 1993 Shawn Michaels, 1993 Shawn Michaels will.
Yeah.
1993 Shawn Michaels is still trying to fucking prove himself, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he got in that company too late.
Oh yeah, I agree. This match essentially ends when Barbarian accidentally kicks Tony Atlas. Too Cold gets to do the God damn it, the 450 splash off the top for the victory.
The people lose their shit.
Yeah, and then we get an interview with the champ Ron Simmons and Too Cold Scorpio, where Ron actually introduces us to Too Cold Scorpio. And like I put down here, I like this match. I like the fact that Too Cold's in. I like the combination of Cactus Atlas and Barbarian. The only thing that's a negative about this match is, again, like we talked about last week, you have your world champion just buried in the middle of the card.
That and Too Cold's promo. He should have just been like, "My name is Too Cold Scorpio. I'm really
right. Yeah.
Have a good night." Like, did Ron even come out with his belt?
Yeah, he did have his belt.
Okay. All right.
He didn't have it during the post-match interview, but he did. When they ran to the ring, I did notice he had his champion. Because I initially, while I was watching it, when I saw that it was first going to be that Simmons and Scorpio as a team, I started thinking in my head, "Oh, has Vader beat him for the title yet?" And
I
then,
did too.
He had the belt with him. But like I said, like you said, right there, prime proof, Aaron. You didn't even fucking know. We didn't even know if he was the champion because they have the champion buried in the middle of the card.
Yeah.
There's a few matches in here that's like, all right, this shit could have been arranged differently.
Yeah. Then we get a video for Z-Man and Johnny Gunn. I don't know why these two men are doing a video to the song Legs.
I don't know, but
they're essentially doing the Fantastics. They're trying to do
that type of video doesn't work anymore, and it didn't even work in '92.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I said they're essentially doing they're essentially doing the fabulous ones, not the Fantastics.
At this point, whenever this promo and the whole video package thing started, I was looking down at my phone and then I'm like, "The fuck is this Miami Vice shit?"
Johnny Gunn's like, "I'm teaming with Z-Man, sincerely."
And then all the broads just look up and like start running, flocking to him. Like, come on.
And Z-Man was like, I sincerely think this is fucking stupid. Because he's a Minnesota guy. And you know how those Minnesota guys are. On TV, they seem like they're like the nicest guys in the world, but
Yeah.
they're like the foulest,
On TV, yeah,
meanest
on
guys
TV, they're like, you betcha sure. Yeah.
put behind the curtain. All of them were just like, motherfucking, this is bullshit. Anyway.
And then in another
Ex-
very much sorry, Aaron.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say another very Bill Watts thing. We are recapping the strongest arm competition that is going on in WCW.
We skip Rude's interview.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Yes, I do have here. Go ahead. I do have here. Tony Schiavone interviews Rick Rude. Yes.
And the only reason I wanted to bring it up was
because you just was talking about Minnesota.
that, and Rick Rude's like one of my favorite guys.
Yeah,
but
I like Rude. He was definitely a body guy and could work the mic.
Like Kurt Hennig, okay, he wasn't the Intercontinental Champion very long in the scheme of the Intercontinental title in like the 80s and 90s, you know?
Right.
But when you think of the Intercontinental title, when I think of the Intercontinental title, I think of Kurt Hennig. Does that make sense?
So do I, because like
because when it was on, like when he had it around his waist, it's just that's who I think of when I think of the Intercontinental Championship. I think of Kurt Hennig. Okay, and I think he was only like Intercontinental Champion. He only held it once, right?
Yeah. He
and it
hold
was
on.
No,
no, he held it twice because Von Erich beats him at SummerSlam 90, but then he wins it back.
He probably had it like maybe
he was
6 months. 6 months a year.
Well, let's just put it this way. All right, WrestleMania 6 was like April 1st, 90. They had the Intercontinental Tournament afterwards. He probably won the title in let's just say late May. He loses it to Von Erich in August. He wins it back from Von Erich, I believe, in October. And then he loses it to Brett. Well, actually, he was a champion for quite a while. Yeah, that second reign was pretty long, actually, to be honest. But no, I mean, overall, probably about a year and a half.
Okay, so year and a half. All right. But I even think of it more. Like when I think of the Intercontinental title, I even think of it even more than Honky Tonk Man. Okay, I just imagine the Intercontinental Champion as being Kurt Hennig. All right, it's what I wanted to say about Rude as the United States Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think of Rude more with like the United States title than I do with the Intercontinental, the big gold belt.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even think Rude was the United States champion that long. But I'm just like, to me, like him being the United States champion, that's who I think of. Mm-hmm. Like Nate, if you would do a tournament, who's the greatest United States champion? I'd be like, Rick fucking Rude. And he's probably not, but in my mind, I'm like, he's the fucking man.
Right.
He's the United States champion. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then we're gonna go into the strongest arm contest like you were talking about. And actually it made me laugh when I watched it because it's the Jesse Ventura strongest arm championship, and it made me think of Mark when he said that he was dressed like fucking
the strong hand.
Like the strong hand. I'm like, oh, it's just the strong arm. Grab my strong arm.
That's funny. I didn't even put that together.
And it popped me in the break room. I was like, haha, Chris Elliott, scary movie, strong arm, strong hand. It all makes sense now.
So yeah, we have the video of the strong arm competition. That's what it's going to be called now. The strong hand competition. That's what we're going to call it.
I need a man with a strong hand.
And then we have Michael Hayes interviewing Paulie Dangerously just before the Battle of the Sexes with Madusa. And all right, here's where I take exception when I said earlier about the Mike Thor thing. So Madusa, quote unquote, comes out to the ring, and right before she gets in the ring, Polly dangerously clocks her with the phone, and she gets knocked out. But it turns out, because, Polly goes to pick her up or whatever and pulls the wig off, and it's not actually Madusa, it's actually Mike Thor. My question is it illogical that this happened? Because did Mike Thor and Madusa talk to Nostradamus? And Nostradamus said, Polly is going to try to knock you out with the phone before you get in the ring? Madusa?
Oh, I thought they were just talking in the back. It's like, oh yeah, about that money you want. If you want a little extra on top of that, you do this.
I mean, I guess you could say that maybe she would have said if you get in there and take him down. I don't know.
I just
I'll give you a smooch.
and it you know what, it worked. It got a pop from the crowd, so it's not like it didn't work. But to me, logically, it was just like, how did they know? How did they know to plan this little deception?
To me, even looking at it, it's also like, I don't want to say it. Even I don't remember what I thought back then, but I could even think like 1992 era would be like, that's a little beefy for being Madusa.
Right.
Yeah,
and
Medusa, I didn't appreciate her as much as I do now, being a 42-year-old man, than I did when I was like 12, because we had like Miss Elizabeth and Missy Hyatt and
Sensational Sherry.
Sensational. Well, and I'll even put Sherry in the same bracket that I'm going to put Medusa. But I'm saying, like, we had Missy Hyatt and Miss Elizabeth and Woman and those type of chicks. When you're a kid, you're like, "Whoo, look at them!" But then you see like a Sensational Sherry or a Medusa, and you're like, "Whatever." But like when you're like 42, looking at those two in '92, it's like, God damn! Like they look like they could probably, ride it hard and put it away wet. You know what I mean? But even like when I forgot about this a little bit because I haven't watched this Clash in a long time. And when that person came out, I'm like, that's not Medusa. That's a dude. But anyway.
But yeah, that's kind of silly. But then, of course, like I said, the crowd liked it. And at the end of the day, what are you trying to do? You're trying to entertain your crowd. So Madusa comes out.
I saw the hair and thought, is Brad Armstrong coming out again?
Madusa then comes out after the ruse is exposed and beats up Paulie as it should have went, with Paulie talking so much shit and all the fucking bullshit he's done to this woman and everything. It should be 5 minutes of her just beating the fuck out of him and ripping his clothes off. That's the way this should have went. It went the way it should have went.
Silly helmet.
Yeah, with his silly helmet and him looking ridiculous. And whether Paulie was, at this point, he was very disenchanted with management and about to be on his way out, but he did the right thing for Madusa here.
Did you catch what Ventura said? Where he's like, she looks well practiced in ripping his pants off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, God, Jesse.
Yeah, Paulie wasn't doing this for WCW. Paulie was doing this for Madusa.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, the crowd goes wild. It did everything it needed to do. I didn't like the Mike Thor thing. I thought it was unnecessary and kind of goofy. And then we get there is so much. Bill Watts has so much going on, tournaments and the strongman thing and the boxing thing. And then there's this King of Cable tournament going on. And I'm not saying whether it's bad or good, but there's a lot going on in WCW right now. They talk about the King of Cable tournament. They recap so far the first round matches. Rick Rude beat Barry Windham.
We skipped over the interview that Tony did with Big Do-Rag Vader.
No, that's after the recap because I actually have that written down.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Rick-
funny you said that though, because my note on that was it looks like Vader found Teddy Long's do-rag.
I put down it looked like Vader found Vince's do-rag before Vince even had his do-rag.
It's like
Um,
I knew he was talking black, but I didn't know he was like shopping the aisle.
Rick Rude beat Barry Windham. Sting beat Brian Pillman. Vader beat Tony Atlas, and Dustin Rhodes beat Barbarian. And then Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone
Vader commences
introduced
so glow.
Harley Race with I wrote down with Do-Rag Vader
Big
talking
do-rag
about
Vader.
taking on Dustin this Saturday on WCW Saturday night in the King of Cable tournament.
And how I love how he come off as pompous and damn, just like so assured of himself. I'm gonna win this. You ask how many championships I've held. I've held more championships than any wrestler, living or dead.
Well, that like he said that, and then I liked the fact he's like, I've won more championships than anybody on any continent, living or dead. I'm gonna be the champ, King of Cable. I'm the best. Nobody can beat me.
No fear.
Vader. He said, no fear.
That's all you need to know. Vader.
Vader. And it's like that was his punctuation mark was
his little
Vader.
signature. Yeah, like a signature at the end.
It's like when like Cobra Commander would do some evil shit, and he'd just be like Cobra. Like Vader was like,
Cobra la
I'm
la
the
la
fuck-
la la la.
yeah. Like he just punctuated this shit with his name. I'm the man. I'm gonna win. Nobody's better than me. Vader. He's fucking awesome, man. Leon White was the shit.
Aaron usually has
There ain't
questions.
nothing between me and you but air, brother. That's the first thing he ever fucking said on TV. But anyway.
Aaron
ahead.
usually has questions for us. I have a question for you guys that I
Okay.
wrote down here.
Okay. The do-rag was awesome, if that's your question.
It was. But that was not my question. That is a statement. The do-rag was awesome. Hashtag do-rag was awesome. Signed Vader.
Do-rag Vader.
With the exclamation point. Vader.
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 There are lots of combinations that you can think of in wrestling where two guys go together like peas and carrots, like Forrest Gump would say. Is not one of the top 5 peas and carrots of all time Harley Race and Vader?
Yes.
Definitely.
Like you just think of
He's-
Vader and you think of Harley Race. Like, you know what I
And
mean?
and it's okay. I want to say it's a different style, but it's almost kind of the same style, but just different generations. But Vader's almost the Harley of his generation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just add a moonsault to the arsenal.
Just this guy that just does whatever, and he doesn't look like he should be able to do the shit that he does.
Mm-hmm.
And he's better than everybody else. Like Harley was better than everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. Like he was better than everybody else. He was tougher than everybody else, and he was the one guy that you were like, you don't fuck with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if
The
you
only
don't fuck
person-
with him, and legitimately, like if you don't fuck with him, he's the nicest guy in the world. But if you fuck with him, he's gonna fuck you up.
Let's just say,
You know?
for all intents and purposes, because it is true, he did do the run of the WWF King Harley Race, blah blah blah. But let's just say that his time on top as a wrestler ended at Starrcade '83 when he passed the torch to Flair. Right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I
right.
still enjoy his WWF.
Oh, no. That's, me too. But my question or my statement is, if I'm taking that, if I'm going 83 back, like his generation of wrestlers, the only person, and it's just because it's my personal preference, the only person of that generation that I would put over Harley personally is Terry Funk. Like, I would put Harley over Bruno. I would put Harley over either of the Briscoes. I would just, it's like for me, for that generation, it's Terry Funk and Harley Race. That's,
Yeah, I can see that, but I wouldn't want to fight either one of them.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But if I had to fight one of them, I'd rather fight Terry Funk.
You might be able to take his eye.
But I don't want to fight Harley Race. If I hit him with my right hand, I'm going to walk around to the left to see what's holding him up. That type of thing. It's like, I wouldn't want to fight Vader.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wouldn't want to fight Sting. But if I had to, I wouldn't want to fight Bret Hart.
I'd fight
If I
Sting
had
before I
to.
fought Vader.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, the next match on this show is the next match in the semifinals of the King of Cable tournament. It is Rick Rude versus Sting.
Another guy I wouldn't want to fight, Rick Rude.
And conveniently for this match, we have
Dangerous,
judges.
Yeah, they foreshadowed it. I hate when they do that in wrestling.
I do
Like
too.
when they talk about like, oh, time limit, like this match has a 60-minute time limit, or this match is gonna have judges in case of a draw. It's like, okay, well, it's gonna be a time limit.
Because it would have been one thing. It would have been one thing if
every single match had it.
If every match had judges, but we didn't see judges for any of those other matches. They just showed us. But yes, we have judges for this one. They are Ole Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, and Hiro Matsuda.
And they're all dressed like my teachers in 8th grade.
and going back to what I said earlier, this match was in the wrong place.
You think this should have been on last?
Yep.
I don't know if it should have been on last. Because it didn't have an ending.
Or you swap.
I would have swapped this match with the unknown Black and Ron Simmons versus Bobby and Arn. I always say the unknown Black because that's probably what Bill Watts would have called it.
That's what Bill Watts had on the format.
But yeah, I don't feel like it was in the right spot.
But it is Rick Rude and Sting in the semi-final match, in a semi-final match in the King of Cable tournament. And it is good. It's not their best match. It's a good match, but it's not their best match they had.
No.
And
oh, good, sorry.
No, go ahead, Aaron.
I was to say the two notes that I had was, and this was like legitimately a note I wrote down because I didn't even think of it until it happened. But like, I don't want this to sound weird, but like when Rude took off his robe, I was like, this is the best in shape Rick Rude had ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Like in WWE, he was cut, but he was like, he was
right, but he was lean.
He was bodybuilder in shape in WWE. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then like later on in like 93, 94, he put on a little bit of fat and whatever, but just muscle wise and just like this guy's a fucking athlete looking motherfucker. This is the best shape he was ever in.
Oh yeah, I've always said that in and we've discussed it before how much more I like Rude in WCW than WWF. In WWF, I mean, I know it's the gimmick, Nate, but in WWF he was built like a male stripper. Yeah. In WCW he was built like a fucking wrestler, you know.
Yeah, but just jacked wise, it's like this was like perfect Rick Rude in '92. And the next thing I thought of was like, right
now. Anyway,
everybody talks about like if Sting would have went to WWF, like what would have been whatever. I don't think Sting would have in WWF ever been more than Intercontinental Champion.
Not in the 90s.
He would have been Intercontinental Champion, but I don't think he would have ever been more than that. And I don't think if you would have had even if you would have still had Warrior and Brett in that company, I don't think Vince would have ever picked him over Brett or Warrior.
Well, I mean, think about it from this perspective. Other than when they lost everybody, Flair, Luger, all kinds of top people. Other than when they lost everybody in the early 90s, and then when they got to do the Crow, well, even then they didn't. The only time they ever Sting is remembered as this huge, and he had very little time as the top guy, though, when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Like he was only the top guy when they needed somebody to be the top guy because they didn't have anybody else. Because even the Crow, we can.
He was chasing the top guy most of the time.
Well, and we can debate, and we all know how they fumbled everything after Starrcade '97, but that's history, and it is what it is. Even then, the people in charge didn't have the confidence in him to really make him the top guy.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, and I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like, if the Ultimate, because people, if Ultimate Warrior and Sting would have went to WWF at the same time, we would have never even got the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, how much I fucking hate the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I'm not a big Ultimate Warrior fan. If
Vince
you put Jim Hellwig and Steve Borden in front of Vince McMahon, he's picking Jim Hellwig.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
And then I think even if you put after Hogan and the Warrior and the muscle bound shit goes away, and you put Bret Hart and Steve Borden in the front of Vince McMahon, he's picking Bret Hart because Bret might not look like the Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan, but guess what he has? He has charisma and an it factor. And I'm not saying Sting doesn't, but Sting is not the promo or the charisma of Bret Hart.
No.
In my opinion.
No, and he's not even half the worker Bret Hart is.
That's what I'm saying. So like I said, I don't want to shit on Sting, but I don't know why I even thought about it.
It's funny. I do that a lot with Sting. So I think I might shit on Sting because I start a lot of sentences with I don't want to shit on Sting, but I really do think I kind
shit on Sting.
I kind of shit on Sting. I think I kind of shit on Sting a lot.
I'm gonna be on you like shit on Sting.
He takes credit. He takes gas.
I didn't have any long notes on this match other than it was a good 30-minute, time limit draw match. So, of course, it comes to the judge's decision because otherwise, why did we have these judges out here? Hiro Matsuda decides for Sting. Larry Zbyszko decides for Rick Rude. And in what should have been bigger news because he hates his fucking guts, based on their history, Ole Anderson actually judged for Sting. Like, if you really think about it, it's like Ole Anderson siding with Sting is actually monumental.
Yeah, it's like you tried to kill him like 12 episodes ago. You basically said, get out of town or we're going to fucking
slit your
splatter your head like a pumpkin.
It's a plastic bag over your head if you don't denounce being a horseman, motherfucker.
If you don't believe me, look at my suspenders, bitch. Ole's the only guy that looks badass in suspenders. Him and Bob Armstrong, but anyway.
Bob Armstrong is also the only man. Okay. This is silly. It's a silly thing, but my wife will attest to this. Do you guys want to know what one of my least favorite things in the fucking world is? Like, I hate it.
What's that?
A short sleeve dress shirt.
I don't like those either.
I think short sleeve dress shirts are fucking stupid. And I always say the only man that ever looked good in a short sleeve dress shirt is Bob Armstrong.
Yep.
And I'll go to my grave saying that. God, I hate a fucking short sleeve dress shirt.
He's a math teacher that can fuck you up.
What I did like about this, though, like my main note, it's funny because my note was about Ole voting for Sting. And then I actually thought it was really hilarious. I don't know why. I don't know if they planned it to be funny or not. But I loved the fact that after the match, Rude tried to cheap shot Sting. And then Sting gave him that atomic drop and Rude just left.
Yeah. He's like, fuck that. I'm out.
Yeah.
My fucking
Did you-
ass bone hurts.
did you
I'm out of here.
But did you see how he sold it when Sting gave it to him twice in the match, and then the third time he's just like fucking.
Oh,
balls
Rude
forward?
always sold it like that. Like he'd do the like he'd do that shit all the time.
Yeah, the whole body cell. The whole body cell on that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I don't know if it was because I had a few beers in me at the time, but that shit fucking popped me. Like Rude was like, all right, I'm out.
That was funny, and I'm sorry I missed this note. But can we go back to the when Mike Thor got hit with the
Yeah.
phone?
Sure.
Okay. I thought it was funny when Gary Michael Capetta introduced to Madusa because he thought Madusa was coming out. And he was like, and now coming to the ring, weighing in at 135 pounds. And then when Paulie hit who he thought was a Madusa with the phone, he was like, weighing in at 135 pounds. He's like, oh. And then he got out of the ring. And he's like, oh. Anyway. Like it was like a human reaction by Gary Michael Capetta. I thought that was funny. But like you said, Sting won this match by judge decision. Then he shoved his knee up Rude's ass and he ran away.
At this point,
And-
Rude's anus had enough of a pounding.
And then we get a Slam Jam video again. And this one I think was Cactuses.
I
think
think
it was Mr.
so.
Bang Bang.
Yeah, I didn't write this one down, but I think you're right. I think it was the last one was the Mr. Bang Bang.
Yeah. Mr. Bang Bang. Stupid. They're selling the Slam Jam video of the Slam Jam album, and nobody's coming out to their Slam Jam theme. I thought that was stupid. But anyway,
Yep.
we get our final match of the night.
And then like when Vince McMahon put out Pile Driver, he made sure Coco Beware wrestled a lot on TV.
Yeah,
So he could come out to fuck a Pile Driver.
Pile Driver. Yeah,
like that's serious. Like that probably helped
Yeah.
Coco's career more than anything in the world was the fact that was his theme music.
that he was a decent singer.
Yeah. That's something I can market, pal.
Yeah,
He's the man that can do it all. He can wrestle and he can sing you a lullaby.
Coco Beware. Yeah, Coco Beware's coming out to kick somebody's ass. He's like, sometimes love.
it feels just like a Pile Driver.
And then the video's like super homosexual.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Fucking what is it? Fucking doesn't Arnold Skolin blow his hose on everybody or whatever?
Yes,
Like,
he
what's
sure
happening?
does.
What's happening, Arnie?
So the main event is there's also foreshadowing in the main event because
Yes.
I put down it's the tag team titles. It's Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas challenging Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham, who is obviously turning heel because he's
It's a
made himself
goatee.
look like a heel.
He's got a goatee and it's dark. Like you said, he's healing himself up with his look. I don't have a lot of notes on the match.
Me neither.
But-
My note was this is the not so main event.
But one of my notes is that when I was a kid and even now, I actually like Shane Douglas and Rick Steamboat as a tag team. I thought they were a good tag team. Their styles meshed well, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Right.
No, I agree. I agree. They were a good tag team. I think that
Like that year, they had like about a year, I think.
yeah. Now, so
'Cause
do you like
they win them. They win them here, and then they lose them in like Slamboree '93.
Mm-hmm. So then I guess the question is do you think Dustin and Steamboat are better, or do you think Douglas and Steamboat are better?
I actually like Douglas and Steamboat better.
I agree with you. As much as I like Douglas, as much as I like Dustin and Steamboat, I like Douglas and because they're like Shane Douglas is a guy that I am very much of two minds on. There are parts of his career where I really like him, and there are parts of his career where I really don't. And him teaming with Steamboat is actually like that version of Shane, this version of Shane Douglas, like the babyface mullet version of Shane Douglas, is my favorite babyface Shane Douglas for sure.
Yeah.
And then my other question that I wrote down here before we get into it definitively is because Barry's turning heel here. I was going to ask you guys, what's your? Sometimes I like to go a year or era or something. I don't know how to phrase it. Like when we talked about Terry Gordy, like what's your favorite Terry Gordy? Is it this year Terry Gordy? Is it what's your favorite Barry Windham? Like say a year. Just give me a year.
Sometimes years mess me up. So I will say when he turned on Dusty. What year did he have the match with Bam Bam? Was that 88?
88.
So 88.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's when he turned on Dusty as well. So yes.
Yeah, so
Like
88.
when he's doing the black glove thing with JJ Dillon and all that.
Yeah.
My favorite Barry Windham is babyface Barry Windham 87, like during the era where he had the hour match with Ric Flair.
I'm much more of a heel Barry Windham fan.
Yeah, I figured that because I think we've talked about it before. Like you're a bigger fan of Barry as a heel, and I'm a bigger fan of Barry as a face. So,
yeah. Well, I enjoyed him when he teamed with Luger, and then I also liked the whole when he teamed with Blackjack Mulligan and shit.
Okay, the new Blackjacks.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna shake it up and be like, I like the Stalker.
Barry Windham didn't even like that.
I know. That was just a joke. If Archie were here, he'd say that just to troll us. He'd be like, I like the Stalker.
Damn right.
I like the Stalker in New York Rules, bro. Riding out on a little pony with no eyelashes or no eyebrows. Anyway, this match was with the talent.
I think the Widowmaker could have had legs.
Mm-hmm.
If all that shit went.
Yeah, because that was almost like the black glove shit in Crockett.
Yeah, I think Widowmaker was. I think if that would have not had the stank of what his family did, I think we would have got Barry Hogan.
You know what?
I think.
You know what? I'll just put it this way: the Widowmaker could have made money if his family wasn't making money. Literally making money.
Yeah.
No, but like you said, you liked him in '87. Like, wasn't it '88 when him and Luger were teamed up?
Yeah, because he winds up turning on Luger and joining the Horsemen at that point.
Right.
And then he's like, yeah, like I said, that's the black glove thing, and then Arn and Tully leave, and then it's like Flair and Barry and JJ just calling themselves the Horsemen, and then JJ leaves, and then it's Flair and Barry and Hiro Matsuda. It's weird. It's a weird.
Yeah, they did a weird thing. They were trying to put it all together, and they tried to put Kendall in there, and
yeah.
Then they did the what was it,
Yakamatsu Corporation or something.
Yakamuchi Corporation or whatever with Hiro Matsuda. It just didn't work.
But in this match, any notes on the match specifically, gents?
Dustin ends up accidentally low blowing Ricky Steamboat, and he doesn't want to take advantage of it. Barry's pissed about that because, like you said last week, Nate, we're getting to were hitting towards Barry, turning, and Barry ends up tagging himself in, and he tries to take advantage of it. And Dustin even pulls Barry off of him because he doesn't want it to be that way. And what I thought was fun was the fact that Dustin didn't want Barry to take advantage of Ricky's predicament, but Shane Douglas took advantage of their predicament and belly to Barry and pinned him.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and Steamer and Douglas are your new tag team champions.
And then we
And
get
if you want to look at it as like we talk about a lot where like Hogan was actually the bad guy.
Yeah.
In this situation, Barry wasn't wrong,
right.
in my opinion. But anyway.
And then afterwards, we get a kind of elongated thing with Dustin and Barry both in the ring, just kind of absorbing the fact that they've just lost the championships. And as they come together to possibly have a discussion as former tag team champions, Barry kicks Dustin in the gut and gives him a DDT, obviously cementing the heel turn, ending their tag team. And then he gives Dustin a superplex. And then to take it one step further, as Jesse Ventura is interviewing the new tag team champions in the back, Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat pretty much says, Dustin Rhodes, you're a good man. You did the right thing, blah, 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 blah. And then Barry Windham comes in and just wipes these motherfuckers out with a steel chair.
Oh, whack.
He's like, I am tired of all this ass kissing, glad handing baby face bullshit.
Yeah.
And
we're off to the races for Dustin and Barry, and like I said, in my opinion, one of my favorite little tag team runs that doesn't get talked about enough. Steamer and Douglas.
Mm-hmm. So that wraps up Clash of the Champions 21. And now that Mark,
we're gonna get some Steamer and Douglas Hollywood Blondes matches. I think.
Yep,
it's good shit.
Yep,
it's good shit.
It is on the horizon. The Hollywood Blondes are about to hook up here in WCW. So now that Mark has been with us for the last episode to this episode, I can actually ask you, Mark, when you compare Clash 20, Clash 21, did we move backwards? Did we move forwards? Or did you think we stayed about the same?
I think we stayed about the same because at this point they still don't know what fucking order to put these matches in. But I mean, overall, I'd still give it a 3 out of 5.
How about you, Aaron?
I'd say status quo, and I'd say 3 out of 5 just because the matches were good. But for the most part, I'm not gonna lie, I thought this show was kind of boring.
Yeah, very lackluster.
Until the end, nothing really fucking happened.
I agree with you in the fact that this show did not engage me like it should. And
like Paulie induced was fun because of what it was and the people involved, and then Barry and like the tag team match was good because I like that tag team, like both those tag teams. But this show was what it was.
Yeah, I put down status quo. Everybody that worked hard, no doubt.
Except Eric Watts,
who doesn't know how to work anyway. But everybody tried their best. It was a status quo show.
Except Eric Watts.
And I also put down, there's just, I don't know, the boxing match was a dud. That whole concept. I like the Battle of the Sexes. There wasn't enough of the strong arm competition thing for me to even give a shit. It was just there, but that was just and then the King of Cable. Like I said, it was just like, God, there's so much going on. And I know you have a new booker and he's establishing his stars and he's establishing what he wants to do with Bill Watts. and I do think, if I remember correctly, and we'll see when we get there, I do think the next Clash is much better.
When I saw the strong arm competition, my thought was, isn't this like 6 years after Over the Top? We're still doing this shit?
I actually like when a lot's going on, but like I like when, like, it's the only thing that I can say that Vince Russo ever said that made sense is that everybody on the show should be doing something.
Right,
because if
right.
they're not doing something, why are they on the show?
Mm-hmm.
But what they're doing should fucking matter. You know what I mean? It's like, and
Right.
there's some guys on the show doing something that's like, man, what they're doing sucks. So
Right.
kind of how I looked at it. So I don't mind when there's a lot of shit happening, just as long as what the shit that's happening actually is interesting and means something.
Right.
Mhm.
But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. Well, that is going to be it for us this week on the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We will see you next week as we're going to head to, let me see here, Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Mecca.
Oh,
January 13th, 1993 for Clash of the Champions 22. If you want to join the WNR podcast Facebook group, feel free. If you want to join, one of us admins will let you in. If you want to join us on YouTube, the WNR Podcast Network on YouTube as well, you can always email us at wecan'twrestle@gmail.com for any feedback, any questions, any concerns. But until next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. We hope you have a great week, and thanks for listening.
And P.S. The password for the Facebook group is fuck Eric Watts.
We just changed it during this show.